Now, you know, I never do combo wrap-ups, but December was a bit of a mess, so here we are. A lot of DNFs later. Hello. My name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel. There's no need to say Happy New Year. We are into February, but I am just now wrapping up December plus January. As I said in the intro, December was a bit of a mess. I don't know what happened in the month of December. I don't have an explanation for it. I just was not in the mood for a lot of the books on my TBR. So we're just going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about my December reads first and then January. And I'm going back to the way I was doing it before, where I will start with my DNFs all the way up to my favorite book of the month. So let's just go. I realize when I edit or go through my Goodreads later that I don't always update you guys on my TBR books that I just didn't read, or I didn't tell you why I didn't read them or whatever. So I'm going to try to remember all the books that I talked about and update you, because my TBRs are not set in stone. I didn't even realize that was a thing because I'm new to Booktube still. So I'm like, oh, we're supposed to stick to them, because I don't. And I'm having my coffee. As you can see, I'm going to try to mind the lipstick. As I was saying, my TBRs are tentative. I do try to stick to them because I get most of my books from the library. So that's why it's helpful for me. But I also read books on my Kindle, and that is where things can get shooken up. But also, I will just go get another book from my library and be like, I don't want to read this. I'll just go get something else. So in December, I was trying to stick to mostly like Christmas themed horror books. And then I had some winter thrillers, whatnot. So it was going to be a very dark and, spooky, twisty month. But what happened was this Christmas, I was just in a more cheerful mood, and I wasn't here for all the dark and creepiness. So one book that I had on my TBR that is a Christmas horror. It is the second book in a series. I read the first book and enjoyed it in 2020, and that is Silent Night. So I was supposed to read Silent Night too, and that didn't happen. What happened was I just wasn't in the mood. I picked it up, looked at the first page, and I was just like, yeah, we're not in the mood for this. So it's not a DNF or anything, because I, like I said, just read the first line and I was just like, I'm not in the mood for this. So didn't end up reading it. Sorry. Stay tuned. Hopefully I will get to it this Christmas, or maybe I'll just decide to read it some other time in the year. Who knows? Then this next one I actually talked about in my books that I DNF'd in 2021 video. I will link it here in case you haven't seen it. But I am talking about Secret Santa. This one I was really looking forward to because I had heard about it in like 2020, I think end of 2020. I don't even know. I didn't get to it in 2020, so I was really looking forward to reading it in 2021. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by my cat Wheezy, who's right here next to me. He's been seen in some of my vlogs and in my Instagram stories. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, link is always below. But anyway, I was looking forward to reading this book, and I read a good little amount. Let me consult my notes. So I got to page 36, chapter 5. Now, this book was described as The Office meets Stephen King. I got none of The Office. I got none of Stephen King. It just was not working for me. This is supposed to be a story about this woman named Lucy who goes to work at this publishing company, and she's starting there around Christmas time. There's a Secret Santa gift exchange. She gets some kind of like demonic figure, and coworkers who've been playing pranks on her start to die, and she believes it's connected to this demonic thing. So I didn't get to any of that. As I said, I got to chapter 5, and it was just too much about her working for this publishing company. That is not what I signed up for. I just don't enjoy books that have to do with working in an office. I used to work in an office. I hated it. So maybe it's a trigger for me. I don't know, but it's not fun for me. I don't enjoy it, and I don't have any interest in the publishing industry. So that just it wasn't interesting to me. I did not care. It was supposed to be that when she went to go interview for this job at this publishing company, the owner's son had told her that she had to find him like the next great horror book or something. So then she starts like trying to comb through all the submissions that have come in. I didn't care. Nothing was scary. Nothing was spooky. It also said it had 80s vibes. I got none of that either. So, like I said, page 36. Bye, Wheezy. He's leaving me. Page 36. I DNF'd it. I said it was on hold at the time, but now I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go back to it. I don't care. So, first DNF of the month. Yay. I hope I don't get any on my white tank top because, you know, I'm pushing it. All right, let's move on. Okay, these next two, I gave both of them a 2.5, but one got bumped up to a 3 and one got bumped down to a 2. So of course, we're gonna talk about the 2-star one first. And that would be Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I did a full review on this one, which will be linked here. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but like I said, it was 2 stars for me. In case you don't know, this is a story about a couple that go away on an anniversary trip to this chapel that is now converted into a bed and breakfast or whatever. The husband suffers from facial blindness. I'm not going to try to say the term. I talked about all of that in my video. Yeah, every year they also exchange gifts that are like the traditional ones. So like silver, gold, wood, whatever you're supposed to do. I don't know about all that. And there's some secrets between these two. It's like, is their marriage going to survive? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Let me preface this by saying I do not care for domestic thrillers. I just don't care for the husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, 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 boyfriend, boyfriend, whatever. I just don't care for those dynamics. It's not my thing. So I knew that going in, but I was hoping this would be different. It was not different enough for me. I thought they had no business together. So that ruined a lot of the book for me. And the plot twists at the end were just frustrating for me as a reader because it just was one of those things where I just did not like where the author took it and where she pulled it from. I was not happy with it. As I said, if you want to see all my thoughts, you could go watch my video. I did a spoiler-free portion and a portion with spoilers. So if you don't want to read it, you just want to know what the hell this book is about, you can watch that part. So anyway, as I said, 2.5 stars, rounded it down to 2. I don't know if I'll read any more Alice Feeney or domestic thrillers. We'll see. Next up, we have Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. Now, this is my 3rd attempt at a Darcy Coates book. Carol Hunt, I read 2021 or 2020. I'm not sure. I don't fully remember, but I DNF'd it. I did not care for the main character, and then some romance started to sprinkle in, and I wasn't here for that either. So again, I DNF'd that. I did love the concept. And then she has another book that's a horror, sci-fi, alien thing, Parasite. I am still working on that. It is basically like 5 novellas, I think, that were packaged into one, but I am reading them as separate novellas. So I read the first 2 and I still am working my way through the last ones. I just haven't been in the mood, but anyway, sounds like I'm turning into a moody reader. What is this? What is this life? I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know. But anyway, so this one, Voices in the Snow, I knew it took place in the wintertime, snow. So I thought it was perfect for December, which it was atmospherically. And this is a story about a woman named Claire who is driving along on a winter day and she loses consciousness. She wakes up in this Gothic mansion and she's with a man named Doran, and he tells her she was in a car accident, but she doesn't remember anything. So I love that premise. It's a mystery of like what happened to her because she thinks he could be lying to her and she's trapped in this house and she has to get out. So it's like, you know, this whole isolated horror situation. I was all here for it. Now, hey, I finished it, so that's a good thing. As I said, I gave it 3 stars, so that's something. I really enjoyed like the first probably half of this book. Like I said, it was so atmospheric. The suspense was there because you didn't know whether she could trust this man or not. And it was like, you know, he would leave her alone and she couldn't get out the bed because she was injured from the car accident. So you're just like, it reminded me of Misery because he was stuck in the bed and injured and this woman's crazy. Except with this one, you weren't sure if he was crazy or whatever, because she starts seeing things like entities or ghosts or people. We don't know. And you're like, what the hell is going on in this house? And when she questions him, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So you like, you lying, you lying. That's what I thought. I was like, you lying. Don't trust him, girl. Don't trust him. But there were some twists and turns. I can't talk about them because I don't want to give anything away. But I will say, just like with Carol Hunt, there was a romance aspect of this book that I was not here for. I realized what it is that I don't like about romance, because it's not that I don't like any romance. There was a romance in Stillhouse Lake. There's romance in Recursion. Some of my favorite books have a romance aspect. The one, I realized when someone said this in a video, I don't like the pining. I just can't stand when it's like, oh, his strong biceps and the way the sweat dripped down his chest. I just don't like that. I don't think that way. It's not realistic to me. It's not what I enjoy. If I wanted that, I would read a romance novel. So when it creeps into a horror or thriller, it just takes me out of it. It just makes me laugh. So that was very much in this book. Be forewarned, because I had no idea. And then when I went back to Goodreads, I saw a bunch of readers had tagged it as romance. If I had known that, I wouldn't have read it. But I will say I got to a point where I was actually interested in the romance. And then when things happened, it got nauseating for me. I was just like, why, Darcy Coates? Why'd you have to write it like this? Just made me want to throw up. Oh God. So I kept reading though, because I don't know why. I just kept reading. I don't know what to say. I did finish it, and it got to the end where things were revealed. I think that's why I kept reading, because there was still mystery out there and I wanted to know what was going on. So when things were revealed, once again, it got to be laughable. Now, my daughter read Craven Manor and she told me all about that. And something similar happened in that book where it was going good and then she ruined it at the end. And that's exactly what happened in this one. I got to the end and I was like, what the hell? I was actually laughing out loud. Told my daughter all about it because it was just so ridiculous to me. I will not be continuing on the series. The way the book ended with the last sentence, I knew what was coming. I was like, was this supposed to be a surprise? I knew it was coming all along. Like I said, I will not be continuing. I'm not giving up on Darcy Coates though, because I do sometimes want the cozy horror, but just please let me know in the comments which one of her books do not contain romance. And yeah, that's about it. I can go with anything else. I like her writing style. I just can't deal with the romance in my horror books. Not her kind of romance anyway. So like I said, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's move on. Okay, so the last book, this is why I didn't do a December wrap up, because number one, I think I didn't finish Rock, Paper, Scissors until like the first week in January. So I wouldn't have been able to talk about that in December. And that would have made 2 books that I read. And I was just like, what is the point of that? It would have just been, I had a bunch of books I didn't read or DNFs, and then I read these 2 books and that's it. So I was like, I'll just wait and do it in January. Plus, I think with my superlative videos, I was just busy. And Christmas time, I went away with family. It just didn't happen. So anyway, this last book on the list, let me put this down because I actually have it here. This book was my favorite read of the month, a 5-star read. Technically it was 4.5, but because of Goodreads, I bumped it up to 5. And I'm not sure where I read this in the month. I feel like I read it like somewhere in the middle. I think I read it around Christmas time. I'm not sure, but this is also why I couldn't read Silent Night too. Let me just tell you, because I know I can't stand when I'm watching somebody just keep going and going. They're like, get to it. A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig. I loved this book. And this sent me on a path looking for more middle grade books. And that is when I discovered How to Train Your Gavin and Alexandra. I believe that's her name. They're actually buddies. But anyway, I was like, I need more of this in my life. If you don't know, because you haven't heard of this book or the Netflix movie, but A Boy Called Christmas is basically the story of Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas. It is the story of how he came to be from a little boy to the Santa Claus that we know. And so, I mean, of course, it's fantasy, fairy tale, whatever you want to call it. But this also got pretty dark. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, there was like a little sprite fairy thing that wanted to make people's heads explode. I mean, like I said, it got kind of dark. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what else to tell you if you don't know that story, but I mean, this one starts with him with his father, and basically his father is working hard, trying to take care of him. I don't remember what happened to the mother. I don't know if they said, but the father's struggling, and someone comes to the father. I don't remember who, because again, I read this in December and we're in February, but someone comes to the father and offers him money if he can show proof to the king, I believe, that there's elves. So the father sets off to go find these elves, and he leaves the son with this aunt that he can't stand, and she's not nice. Like, whoo. Like I said, also why I got dark. So the very beginning was, it was fine. It was a little slow for me because, like I said, it was him at home with the dad, and then the aunt came and it was him with her. And I was like, when are we going to get to the reindeers and whatnot? But then Nicholas goes off to try to find his father. And that is where it picks up and it becomes an adventure story. And like I said, he gets to the town of Eltham and it is just magical and all the little elves. And I actually had returned this book to the library and got it again because I wanted you to see the illustrations. I am an artist. I mean, I've posted some stuff in my community chat with my journals, but I Used to draw a lot when I was a kid. I'm trying to get back into drawing more. But like, I just love the illustrations. This is just a simple one. I was trying to flip through. It's like they would just sneak up on you when you'd be reading like, oh, look at this, that's cool. This is a troll. I don't know if you can see that good. I love this one, this little newspaper thing here. But anyway, like I said, there are illustrations throughout. I love them all. I actually got misty at the very end when he becomes Santa Claus. Like I said, the meaning of the book, purpose of it, I just thought it was so sweet. And who would have thought I'd love a book like this? So like I said, I have been on the lookout for more middle grade books like this, which is how I got to the books I read in January, which didn't go as well for me. But if you have any recommendations, I'm actually going to read his book, Matt Haig's book, Midnight Library, soon, because I loved his writing. But if you have any middle grade recommendations that are more adventure, action, and also fantasy, please leave them in the comments below. But yes, as I said, 5 stars. So those were the books I read in December. Now let's move into the January reads. All right, so in January, I will start with the book that I am still reading. And I'm speaking of Served Cold, the horror tube anthology collection, short story horror collection. I think I said that right. So yes, this one, I have enjoyed a good amount of the stories, not all of them. I would say it started off really strong for me, and then it started to drag a little bit. And some of these stories are a little long for my liking. When it's a short story collection, I need them to be short. And some of these stories, like I said, are too long. And with my Kindle, the way I have it set up, I can see how long it's gonna take me to read it. And I get to a story and I see 30 minutes. I didn't sign up for that, for a short story. That's just not what I wanted. So it's taking me a little bit longer. I am about the 60-something% mark, so I will update you on that later, but it's going. Stay tuned for that. And then for most of these, I actually have the physical books here from my library. So once again, let me put this down. Buy coffee. All right, so again, going from DNFs all the way up to highest rated book. No 5 stars this month. Spoiler alert. Okay, so this first one, The Gone World. In this month, let me get that tassel out of there. In this month, I wanted to stick with all winter themed books. And this one is a sci-fi thriller book, I believe, from what I remember. You can see here on the cover, it's like the snowy vibes, but she's on a planet that is frozen cold or whatever, but it says Inception meets True Detective, and this was a DNF. It's about this woman who is part of a secret division of Naval Criminal Investigation Services, and she's investigating a disappearance of a teenage girl. Looking at the cover, the back of it, I don't even remember what this was about. You can watch my TBR video. Like I said, this woman's supposed to be investigating this disappearance, and I don't know, something to do with time travel too and whatnot, whatever. I stopped reading it. I still have the bookmark in here. I stopped reading on page 16 because it got too dark for my liking. It started to describe a crime scene that she walks in on, and it is a 10 or 11-year-old boy, and it is describing too much. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm a mom. I ain't here for stuff with kids. So especially in graphic detail, and that's what was going on here. I guess it's more of the True Detective part. I wanted more Inception. So I was like, nope, we're not doing this. So DNF. Moving on. All right, so then we're gonna get into some middle grade books because, as I said, after I read A Boy Called Christmas, I wanted some middle grade fantasy adventure books in my life. And I picked up Green Glass House by Kate Milford. This is about a boy named Milo. He lives at this innkeeper place situation that you see here. And it's the winter time, so it's supposed to be like nobody's coming by. But all of a sudden, all these people start showing up at the house and mysterious things starts happening. And this boy named Milo is supposed to investigate what's going on with these people, why they're all showing up, what they have in common, whatnot. So I was looking for a mystery, cozy adventure situation. It gave me the atmosphere I was looking for, but this started to turn into a role-playing game, an RPG, like video game style. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. As soon as I got to that part of the book, I was like, nope, that's not what I wanted. We're gonna stop. So I DNF'd it on page 56. I actually got pretty far. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the whimsy and the descriptions of the people who were showing up at the house. But then it got to be too many people and everybody was called by their last name. And I've said this before, I don't do good with names in real life. I have tried all kind of tricks and things that people say, give something to help you remember. It does not work for me. There were too many people, too many similarities. And then like when they got there, this house was supposed to have like 6 floors or something, and each person was on different floors. And I didn't even know if that was supposed to be important. So now I gotta remember their name and what floor they're on. And it was just too much. But like I said, when I got to the RPG part of the book, that was no. And then on top of that, on top of having to remember all the guest names of all the people who stopped at the inn, there was also the boys' mom and dad, and then the cook, and then I think her 2 daughters, and then the little boy Milo and one of the cook's daughters. They're the ones that were going to play this RPG game. They were coming up with names for the game. So now I got to remember that name on top of their real names. Nope, too much. But I understand that I am not the target demographic for this book. It is well below my age range. I watched a video that Ashley from the Bookish Realm did talking about reviewing middle grade and children's books and how it's not really fair to review them when you're, not in the age range. So again, I didn't finish this, but it is a beloved book. A lot of people love it. It's highly rated. It just was not for me because, like I said, I'm not into RPG games. But again, and all the names, I probably could have got past all the names if the RPG part wasn't mentioned. So again, nothing wrong with this book. I think it is great for younger kids, especially if they like RPG games. They'll like this. And I've had people in my comments say they love it. So it's just me, not you. It's me. This next one, I feel like this may be the furthest I've gotten in a book before I DNF'd it. And this one just like broke my heart a little bit because I was enjoying it, but then I just lost interest in it. I'm talking about The Hat Makers by Tasman Marchant. I feel like they're French. I don't fully remember. But I actually posted about this on my Instagram. I will say middle grade books, they have the best covers. I think that's another thing that gets me. I just am always sucked in by the book covers. This one is about a little girl named Cordelia whose father is a famous hat maker in this town where everyone in the town is known by the trade or the job, the skill that they have. So you have the hat makers, the cloak makers, the boot makers, don't remember the rest. But yeah, so her father is a famous hat maker and he goes off to sea to find this item that he needs to make this hat for the king. And he gets lost at sea, but someone comes back and tells her that he died, but she doesn't believe this. So the synopsis says that she goes off to try to find her dad. And also there's the other storyline of the king needs this hat made for him because he's acting very strange. So they're also trying to make this magical hat for the king. It was very atmospheric once again with descriptions of the place that she lived in, the magic that was infused in the hats because everything is magical in this book and in this world. But then it was a lot of just like her daily life. She sent her bird that she sent the bird with a note off to the dad. So then she was kind of like just waiting around for the bird to come back. And I was like, I thought you were going to go find him. I'm gonna tell you right now, I got to page 160. Good Lord, 160, look at that. I got pretty far in and she hadn't gone off to find her dad yet. And then I enjoyed when they went to go visit the king, I enjoyed those aspects of the story because the king was just acting crazy and they were trying to figure out what was going on with him. And I actually thought those parts were funny, but it wasn't enough of that. It was more, like I said, of her everyday life, her just going around the town and going back home. And then like there was a couple parts where some people came into the shop and she was making a hat for them. But like I said, it was not as interesting as I wanted it to be. But again, this one is beloved. So it is me. It's not you. It is me. So once again, I'm not the target age range for this book. I think it is great for younger readers. A lot of people love it. Once again, it is me. And I even tried to pick this one back up a couple times and I was just like, yeah, no. I just lost interest. I do know from looking on Goodreads that she does go look for her dad, but it was just taking too long to get there and I just wasn't interested in the meantime. Moving on. All right. And then last but not least, when I realized I was not interested in the hat makers, I was like, I got to go find something else. I need something else to pick me up. And when I need a pick me up, what do I go for, ladies and gentlemen? A thriller book. So I was like, what do they have in my library right now that I can get today that I don't have to wait for? It could be backlist. That's probably what it's going to be. And that is what it was. And I was like, let me look through my TBR of older books that I've been wanting to read. And this one was on there and I thought it would have some atmosphere for this time of year, I was correct. And that would be The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. This is my third Ruth Ware novel. I also read The Turn of the Key and One by One. I enjoyed both of those. Turn of the Key was my favorite of the three, so spoiler. And like I said, One by One was fine. I think that's also a good one for this time of year. I've talked about that before, so I'm not gonna get into that. But anyway, we're here for this one. Stop getting distracted here. Anyway, let me remember who these characters are. So this one is about a young lady named Harriet, Hal for short. She's going about her business working on the pier as a tarot card reader, and she receives a letter in the mail that her grandmother, Mrs. Westaway, has passed away, and there will be a reading of her will, and she is being requested to come to this reading. But she's like, hold up, my grandmother died a long time ago, so who is this woman? Westaway is a family name, so she's like, I don't know who this is. Maybe I'm mistaken. She goes to look for her mom's birth certificate. Her mother has died. She goes to look for her mother's birth certificate. She finds it. She does not see with her mother's parents this woman's name, this Mrs. Westaway. So she's like, But she also got some loan sharks coming for her. I was like, oh, I didn't know this was part of the story. Some thuggery. And so these loan sharks are also coming for her and basically threatening her with her life. And so she's desperate for money. That always makes things more interesting. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna just go and pretend I am this woman's grandmother. You know, hopefully they won't know and I can get this money. So she goes along for the ride. And I will say, I was actually into this book. Now, this takes place in, I don't know, actually. It could have been fall, winter. It was cold. It was more rainy, but it still gave me the vibes that I needed for this time of year. And when she gets to the place where the reading of the will is going to happen, the family home is called Trepassen. Not sure how you're supposed to say it. Trepassen. I don't know. But it is an old Gothic mansion, which I love. I'm sorry. You just put that in a book and I'm automatically here for it. Those are just my kind of vibes. I love it. One of my favorite movies is Haunted Honeymoon because I love the atmosphere. Clue. I just love those kind of environments. That's also why I love Knives Out. Anyway, I digress. Like I said, she gets there and they are going along with it. They think she is their family member because they believe that her mom died, as she tells them. So it was also the mystery and the suspense of how far can she get with this lie? And then she realizes some things are going on with this family. Some things aren't right, of course. Now, I ended up giving this book 3 stars. It was fine for me. I will say, once again, too many characters, too many names. I have read plenty of books with many characters, so it's not like I can't handle it. When it is well done, it is not a problem for me. In this book, I just think the characters just were not developed enough for them to stand out for me. The names were just too, I don't know, stereotypical for a Gothic type of rich family story, like Harding. Oh, that one. Harding. That one just got me. It just sounded like Harding. Let's go to the golf course. It was just like I said, they were all just rich, you know, heirs and heiresses. And like I said, they just weren't standing out to me. So then there was also this aspect that was introduced where it's a little bit of incest. And I found that nasty. It was nothing graphic, but it was just like, why? I didn't like it. And then the ending just got confusing because there are 2 characters with names that are similar. I already said I have a hard time with names. But we had Maggie and Maud. The way my brain works already is most of the time when I remember names, I think of the first letter. So I'll be like, I know it's something with a C. So Maggie and Maud, oh my Lord, I was so confused. I had to go reread a bunch of pages, which too much. But I read on Goodreads. A lot of people thought this was too slow. It was fine for me because, like I said, I like the atmosphere. I was intrigued by the suspense of things. Other people said that the main character, Harriet, got on their nerves. She didn't really bother me. So, like I said, it was just okay for me because I didn't like the twist at the end or the reveal. And like I said, when I got to the end, I was just kind of like, what did I just read? And okay, I guess so. It was nothing spectacular. So yeah, it was fine, but I guess this was the best book I read of the month. So whenever I need to pick me up, I go to a thriller because I can fly through them. They always hold my interest. It's just always my guilty pleasure, I guess. So there you go. So I'm gonna do what I see all the other booktubers do. Hold up my stack. Let me put the spines out so you can see. Lord have mercy, let me not. See, I don't do this. This is why I don't do this. Here are all my books for, I keep keep looking at the viewfinder because I'm trying to see what this looks like. Here are all my books for December and January. Not all, because some of them were on my Kindle, but my reads, and of course, Boy Called Christmas ended up being at the top because it was my favorite book of the month. But let me put these down because this is not easy. Whew. So, yeah, let me know in the comments. Well, yeah, I already said, let me know if you have any recommendations similar to A Boy Called Christmas and any Darcy Coates that don't have romance. And you can also let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you like them. I may read or eventually read The Woman in Cabin 10, I believe it's called, by Ruth Ware. So you can let me know what you thought about that. And if you don't have a comment, you can leave me. I know we're way past Christmas, but you can leave me some kind of Christmas emoji, reindeer, Santa. I don't know what else they have. One of those kind of things. And as always, all of these books will be linked down below. You can always check below for all of my social media links, Goodreads, Instagram, ways you can support my channel, donate for coffee, tea, all that good stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Welcome to all my new subscribers. If you are new and you want to let me know, you can always let me know in the comments. I love to know who's here and chat with you in the comments because I respond to each and every person. So, I think that is all. So, until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book like Boy Called Christmas. Unplug as much as possible. Be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.